Hello, everybody. Welcome. I hope the microphone's working. I think it is. Bear with me just a moment. Okay. Welcome. I'm coming on today with a live for a full moon. We have a full moon coming up. It's the 2nd of May, and this is a rare blue moon. So I'm doing a guided healing, and I keep feeling that it's going to be ascension based. So I am a master healer, and as a master healer, I don't always have to do it Reiki style, okay? And I don't even like to call it Reiki. I am a light healer, basically, a master light healer. And even in my one-on-ones, I draw light, I see things within the body, and I heal them. So for the ascension, generally, everything I do, I let spirit guide me. And so I really don't know what's coming through with this one. I was guided to create an ascension sphere, which I have right here. It is a crystal sphere grid on the flower of life. I do have the heart chakra bowl. I have some koshi chimes, and I have a bunch of crystals near me. But I feel like it's going to more be about a guided meditation. And so whatever comes through will come through, okay? All you have to do is just be present, preferably with your feet uncrossed and on the floor, and hopefully not driving or anything like that. And then just be open to receive whatever it is for you. Everything that I do through the Akasha records as well, meaning that it's recorded in your records. What you need comes from your blueprint. And that's how we operate. But this is for the full moon. Okay, so this is coming in for the full moon. I do have some cards here because I was drawn to a message within it. And a lot of times when you watch like my ascension workshops, that's how it's done. So it starts with a little guidance, a little message that comes through that will again circle back around through the healing. Okay, so welcome. Like I said, this is a rare blue moon, but I mean, we've had blue moons. What's rare about it is we had one on the 1st of May, and now we are having one on the 31st of May. Okay, so we are already in the energy, and the energy is quite palpable. It is intense, right? We have all these energy influxes, lots and lots of different volcanoes erupting, lots of things happening. It's just an energy influx, basically. Also, what I noticed over the last couple days with this energy coming in is light codes, DNA activations through the sun. So we'll see if those come in. It all just depends on what is needed for you. Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello. This is an ascension-based one. That's what I'm hearing. And y'all have to forgive me. I'm getting older and I'm like super hot. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm sweating. I'm not happy about that. So, yes, very awesome, very excellent. I'm excited. I haven't had anything for the Ascension come through in a minute because it was just nonstop for quite some time. Oh, I see what I did. Hang on. I really liked what I was hearing, so I'm gonna try to go back to it. So some of you are familiar with how these go for shizzle. And like within my predictions too, do you guys remember I talked about when these energies from the sun come in like they are, we are going to have things that don't align being undone, and explosions. And there's been a massive amount of things happening. And it can get very overwhelming. It can get, we can become emotionally heightened, right? That's a good way to put it. Sensitive, flustered, and our focus can get off. And that's what Spirit's saying is no matter what, we got to try to keep our focus on the positives, focus on good things. Okay. I also have my new Jupiter Moon oil. This one was so cool. Do you guys remember I channeled from Minerva? She came through when I was doing my New Earth workshops that I'm still putting together. I just get so busy with the crisis work. It kind of sucks. But when she did, I channeled these new intention oils, and I really, really, really like them. So I'm including that into this healing also. I was guided to grab my drum. We'll see if it comes out to use it or not. Yeah, so just sit back, enjoy, relax. Hopefully you have a little time to do so. And we'll go from there, okay? Okay. I was actually guided to grab my Lemuria deck, which definitely comes through generally on all of our workshops. Um, I was watching this Mount Shasta documentary. Now, if you've watched my videos and you've worked with me, I did things to Mount Shasta. I didn't just take us there and heal there. Oh no, I would never want to heal there, especially knowing what I know now. But there was this what they call a cult that connected to Mount Shasta, and it's like through Saint Germain. I found this very interesting because this guy claims that he had a vision there, vision quest, or Saint Germain showed up and took him inside there, and inside there was like Lemuria and like this underground stuff. Okay, so that I was like listening to them like weird because when I went there, there were things underneath, but it was a false connection to the earth, and it had to be undone, and we undid it and returned the route back to Fiji. So I personally saw nothing good there. It was actually hundreds of trapped souls there. So I found that to be very interesting. So I feel like, some of us see certain things and others see things a different way, right? And so we have to be aware of that, but also our own lens, okay? Becoming aware of our own lens, becoming aware of what we are seeing and why we are seeing it. And that's important because our lens should be shifting as we are rising. Some of us will see the earth one way, and others will see the earth another way. And it's intense. All right. So let's just start. Let's begin. I am so flustered because I'm all like super hot, and I don't like to be hot. Like, I need a blast fan. Just blast me away. But we're going to start this properly. Calling in the creator, the angels, of all that is. Okay, you all ready? So I'm calling the creator of all that is with all the angels too, to connect with us, to guide us, to protect us through and through. I call forth the highest light in and out only. I invoke the presence of the north, the east, the south, and the west, recalibrated to the new earth frequency, with earth, wind, fire, and water, all gathered and powerfully aligned from the west back to the north, anchored into the highest divine love, foundation, guidance, and support. Any beings of light that wish to step forward and be with us today, I call them forth. And Saint Germain is coming forward. It's interesting. I was talking about him. It's not interesting. It's interesting. We have Archangel Michael stepping forward also. We have Tatanka stepping forward. And also, if you're not used to me, I do burp when I connect. I did create an ascension sphere, as I told you, and I have at the center would be, or should I say, the foundational focus would be the moon crystal and then the sun crystal. So the north is the moon crystal, the south is the sun crystal on this grid. So I'm going to begin to slow down the energies and call us into the circle. Whenever you find this healing, it is for you. And it will include this full healing energy, portal, whatever you want to call it. Any time, you guys, we rise in vibration is a portal opportunity. Is a portal, it's a frequency shift. A timeline is a frequency shift. Everything can be broke down to frequency, vibration, flow. And they're also saying, you guys, I'm stopping it for a second because if you want to get a pencil and a paper, we might actually get an image with this one. So generally, I do with the full moons creative flow release. So there might be something, there might not. If you wish to grab a pencil and paper before we fully begin, hello, do so, because if at any time you get an image that spirit wants you to create, it's because it's to help you open up your creative center. Okay. It's not about being an artist. We are artists. We are creators. And so it's about opening that up. And oftentimes they'll come through in these. So if it does, just be ready to jot it down. But then you have to create it. You have to paint it. And of course, you got to let go of the thought of perfection. Perfection is judgment. It's not about being perfect. It's about allowing yourself to express. And if it's mucky at first, it's because that's what's going to get you to the space of where you really like what you do. Okay. So please let that go. A lot of people will be like, that's your first one, or I don't want to, they compare what they do to others. They expect that they should be this artist, and it's not true. You should have seen my first painting. But if you take my first painting to what I do now, it's like, holy shnikes, I've never painted a blue jay. Like, I've never painted half of this stuff. So you never know where it's going to take you. Okay, so if you get an image, please create it to complete the journey. If you don't, that's okay. It's not part of your path at this time, but you might, and that's what they're saying. So if you're just coming in, just accept the healing. We're doing a guided meditation today for, it is an Ascension Healing. Okay, so it's what I do. It's the workshops that I do. It's the work that I do for the earth. So these always include the earth, but I ride you with it. Like we take ourselves through the wave, and we heal with her, not just through her, whatever that is. Okay. So Algonquin is stepping forward. Now, Algonquin, interesting enough, is the white dragon. When a while ago they had me draw the white dragon, and then we processed what the red dragon was, and that's part of the prophecy of the return. And that this full circle to why I was talking about Mount Shasta, isn't it? If you watch my videos, Mount Shasta was the red dragon. The prophecy is the defeated red dragon. Um, and in the Ascension portals, yeah, I think it was the fifth one, and Mount Shasta deals a lot with the mind control stuff because it's a false foundation. It's a false reality of, so when you know what really happens, they change the frequency, they change the foundational um, creation, they change things, and then they use the light for their own gain, and that created that veil of illusion. Okay, and that's what I'm trying to say, because it was a false foundation. It took us out of the foundation of God, of the original creation of the earth, and it created a new one. And that's where duality was born. It's not from a tree of an apple. It was from taking the root chakra from Fiji and putting it in Mount Shasta, and then filling Mount Shasta with tons of bloodshed and darkness. And so it created a disconnect from Christ consciousness. And that was the veil of illusion. That's why we would come here and forget who we were. So for whatever reason, this is coming out right now. Because as we go into a mass awakening, we're all going to start to remember who we really are. Okay? Um, so we're just rolling with the flow. Let's see what else comes up. Throughout these two, like, it's important to listen to everything said. Like Lisa would do, sometimes you watch them more than once because you're going to get different things each time. You'll see, because they're quite vast. And one time you might receive a certain part from the healing, and then another time you might receive another part from the healing. So these are complex, and you will receive what you're ready to receive. And an awakening is like a full circle, right? You do something, and then you take some time to process, clear, go through that something, and then you come back around to further understanding, and then you move on to the next level. And that's kind of how it works. So just take your time, relax, and don't have expectations. Okay. All right. So again, I need to call for our energy. Our energy, they're saying times 3. I don't know why I'm saying it that way yet, but I'm sure it'll make sense. But I'm calling forth our energy, whoever comes forth now or later, doesn't matter, live or not live, it will be just the same. times 3 deals with the like layers, is what I'm hearing. Um, all right, so let's go ahead. I'm like, which do I start with? Let's just start with a quick message because that's how these always start. We're in very powerful times, and it can get overwhelming. I don't know about you guys, but there's like so much just information and so much talk about the ascension. There's so much talk about this and that and the other, and then you have a lot of crazy stuff happening to the earth. There's fear. It's like a big huge stew pot of different ingredients. And so what do we really focus on? And what's more important is to focus inward on you. No matter what's happening, we have to take that time to focus inward on us. Okay? Not be distracted, not watching TV all the time. I love a little Netflix and show myself. It can get me. We have to take that time to truly just feel our body, listen to our body, feel the layers, be omnipresent, not meditate, not mindful, mindless, awareness, and omnipresence, whatever that means. Crystal keys. So I said everything is vibration. Okay? Think of everything in vibration and frequency, and then you have the answers to everything. What is a portal? Higher vibration. What is a timeline? Higher vibration. I hope you're not experiencing wonky sounds. I do have some sound in the background. Y'all, I'm hardwired in, but you know, technology. Huh. Okay, let's see if I can fix it. Don't go anywhere. I'm just gonna move my microphone and see if that helps. You don't hear me now? Good. Okay. I don't really want you to hear too much in the background because I don't want to be copyrighted. Is that better? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Ah, I don't know why it's wonky. Could be the internet connection. No matter how much you pay for internet and how better. Okay. I'm hardwired in. I am all the things. I have to be for my work. So I want you guys to think of everything in vibration. I'm tired of the terms of, ooh, portal rising, ooh, this and that and the other. Just think of things in vibration. Let's simplify it. Let's break it down to the simplification of what it really is, and that will help you in all things. To rise, we rise in vibration. Okay? To ascend, it means to go into a higher state of being, not necessarily to the other side. The other side is kind of coming to us. We're finding. So we need, okay, we have water coming through here, the overflow. We need to clear our frequencies. Okay, we need to clear our frequencies. And then we have this. Okay, life is a series of constantly shifting cycles. When we resist change, we resist the natural flow of life and create unnecessary stress. Go with the flow. You will be surprised where it leads. Okay, this is big because we resist change subconsciously. Our mind, our body, including the collective, likes familiarity. And if it's not beneficial familiarity, that's what we fight for. So change comes and we will automatically go into a resistance without noticing. And that's why Spirit's saying to be omnipresent within yourself. Hopefully, y'all can hear me. To be more focused within yourself. Okay? Don't worry about all the titles. Don't worry about what's happening in the external. And please don't be mindful. Be mindless. Okay? Feel. That is so important for us to feel. Our emotions, okay, water. Our emotions are the key to everything. All right. Now, when we get triggered or when we get overwhelmed and we get anxious or even fearful, we tend to shut down. It's just like that overflow, right? We will tend to shut down. And so it's so important to take everything in little bite sized measures. Okay. There's no need to rush, there's no need to solve everything. What we need to do is just feel. So in the moment you get overloaded, because there's a lot of different stuff coming from the spiritual community, from the world, just everywhere. It doesn't matter. Just shut it down for a second. The only thing that's important for anything, for healing, for rising, for awareness, is your emotions and your body. Our mind is a powerful tool, and it's not as used as often as we've been accustomed to. Okay, it can be a distraction. It's like a computer program. That's true. So we want to feel, we want to clear, we want to. The moment you feel anything, even a trigger. Okay, I know this. I have a degree, but as a healer, even okay, people think, anxiety. We don't always know what to do with these things. And this is part of the message because if we don't take our time right now and actually use them for what they are, we have a hard time rising through these energies. And if we don't hit every wave, things can get overwhelming. Okay? We can get bogged down. We can begin to feel heavy. We can feel triggered, even if we're not normally triggered. What is a trigger? A trigger is your body saying, I need healing. There is a trap something. There is a wound here. There is a something here that I need healing. Same with anxiety. Same with fear. It's a time to look within and go, where am I giving my power away? What do I need to see? And what do I need to release? So that we can rise in vibration. And it's going to hit us a lot as these energies come in. And that's what Spirit's saying to me. I realized I was posting about the explosions, right? Um, Emotional control. That's just, yeah. I don't know if I like the word control, but it's like powerless, right? When your emotions have power over you. Um, but what I do is if it's sparking fear, that's where we have to look at and go, what am I afraid of? Because no matter what I do, there's nothing to be afraid of. I had this conversation with somebody on the crisis line. No, it wasn't the crisis line. It was that guy that was trying to come back into my life. He's like, fear is very real. And I'm like, only where you give it power, right? People will tell me, well, we need fear to survive. No, we actually don't. That is part of a false matrix system. Naturally, we're not afraid of death. It's true. Only when we have been taught to be afraid. Because when you are in your full power, when your vibration is high and you are omnipresent and you are in the consciousness of awareness, in that Christ consciousness, they call it, there really is no fear. You're more in tune with who you are, with where you're going, without false timelines, right? And we realize that we're not outside of even our exit points a lot of times, okay? So we just have this depletion of power, and it goes into that victimhood consciousness, okay? Um, so when something's happening, it's your body trying to show you this is what I need you to heal so that I can raise the frequency. If I can't rise this frequency to match the earth, which is getting super high and octave right now, then I'm stuck. Okay, because we cannot bypass. You cannot spiritually bypass. Even on the path, I couldn't spiritually bypass. Like you cannot. I will give you chills. I feel like that's so important to hear. There were certain steps that we have to take. There are certain things that we have to do to reach the next level. I had a Kundalini awakening, you guys. I had a massive Kundalini awakening, and I was seeing things and doing things that blew my ever-loving mind, and nobody could understand it. But even waking up like that, I didn't just claim to be a master. And that didn't come to like, gosh, I don't know, a year down my journey in spirit's like, you're a master. And I'm like, oh, and then I had to digest that before I used it. Okay. Because it wasn't through my ego. It wasn't because that's what I wanted to tell people I was. It was trying to say, okay, if spirit says I'm this, what does that mean? And how do I own that? But my point is even though I had a massive Kundalini awakening and I came into my full power right away, like I was literally traveling outside of my body. I could see myself, leave myself. I was going all over the world doing things to the earth. I was going to people and doing healings there. I could see things like a blanket or what they were wearing or something that I could tell them, like, this is what you were wearing, this is, and I wasn't one on one with them. These were just what I call like kind of like astral traveling. It's like quantum jumping. And that's what I woke up to. It wasn't remote viewing. It wasn't baseline. Like it was literally seeing myself in my body would just be here like this, and I'd be out somewhere else. And that's how I was doing things to the earth at first. But even after that, I had to come back and say, okay, this is how we do it, one bite at a time. One bite, doing the message. One bite, doing this kind of a healing. One bite, realizing I was a mediumship. And so I took it backwards and then took it step by step by step. And once I woke up to every step and followed every heart nudge and unwrapped every piece of the gift, then it became one thing. And now when I do healing, it's literally whatever you need. There's no limitations. It could be a concoction of all things coming through from mediumship to light healing to chakra healing to physical healing. Like it doesn't matter, right? But I have to open up every piece by piece. And the ascension is the same way. We cannot spiritually bypass. And that's what gets me too about like Reiki and the shadow that got in the spiritual community, because I see people still doing this to this day. They cut their cords to their karmic connections. You don't want to do that. Karma's not a bad thing. It's just what we've done outside of our power, outside of unconditional love. And we have to learn those lessons to us. That's not a maybe. That is not a maybe. When I walk through the threshold of the new earth, of those gates, of the 13th gate, of the heaven on earth, they did a review. You have a life review. And that's what's on the Egyptian the things, right? They have the scale with the heart. And God doesn't judge. What it is, it's a measurement of how much love is within you and how much healing you did and the lessons you still have to learn and what you refuse to learn. Okay, do you refuse to let go of the matrix? And do you accept that, you know what? It's just time to be whole again. It's time to be whole. It's time to let go of what we're not. It's time to let go of this fear, this false timeline. And yeah, there's all this information bombarding you and what is real and what is not. It doesn't matter. A true awakening, a true spiritual journey comes through no matter what is happening to others around you, and you can't make it up. You can't fake it. Like I look back at all the stuff I've done and I'm like, holy crap. Like, yeah, if people don't look through it, I look crazy. This is why I did my own like psych eval when I had my awake. I'm like, what is happening to me? Like, I had it done, and no, you're normal. No, okay, because it does look wonky. But then we realize we've been lied to the whole time. Okay, so you cannot fake a spiritual awakening, and you also don't want to compare yourself to others because it's individual, but it's one path. There's only one path home. Okay. Um, I don't know. I'll turn off the background music just in case. And hopefully we'll see if that helps the sound, because gosh darn you almighty, you shouldn't be wonky. So we have to let go of number one, expectations, and you cannot spiritually bypass. Now let me ask you something. If we can't see everything, that was it? Okay. If we can't see everything, how do we know all the answers? We can't. If we don't know because of the veil, look at everything I'm saying is important. That veil of illusion, that thing that disconnected us from our soul level, from our blueprint, Saint Germain, Akasha Records. It's all here. Everything I say matters. If I can't even know what my karmic blueprint is, how do I know what steps I need to do to heal it? To think we do is ego. That's why it has to be co-creation. Okay? You're so welcome. That's why it has to be co-creation. This is part of the message for this workshop. Okay. So we have to get through, everything matters. Even a message is part of a healing. Okay. We cannot spiritually bypass. And when we think we know everything, when we think we know what to do, we think we're in trouble, because there's no way you can. It doesn't make you less than to not. There's no way you can. That's expectation. When we think something's hard, when it comes to spirituality, that's judgment, that's expectation, that's fear, that's the shadow. Okay. God is really, truly good. The angels are so great. And there's nothing in you that says you can't connect to them except for your belief system. Okay. Nobody's outside of that. But I feel like what the problem is, oh gosh, I didn't even show you the card that came out, by the way. It was surrender to the divine. So this is all part of the message. I don't even really need the cards. The problem that we find is we think we know based on what we know. We think we know based on what we've seen and what's been around us the whole entire time. But it's not true. You've been connected to a false God. Not to say God's not real, but it's very true. You know, the darkness played the light, still does to this day. Okay. Do you really know who and what the darkness is? That's the most important part, is can you see the difference between the darkness and the light? And the only way you can do that is to eliminate more of the darkness within you. Okay. And when things have power over you, that's where you have work to do. That's it. Okay. That's how we heal our karma. It doesn't matter what your karma is. I have a past life where I murdered somebody. I saw that in my awakening. And I'm like, okay, so people say, you know, you do certain things. Can we separate from God? We can. Yes, we can. But can you heal it? Yes, you can. You can bring yourself right back. How do you do that? By doing the work. Okay. Gaining the knowledge, gaining the insight, learning the lessons, and then choosing differently next time. And they will repeat. And that is the path home. We have to co-create with spirit, and you can. You absolutely can. Even if you think you can't connect to spirit, you can. It's just knowing how they communicate with you, knowing how to see the nudges, knowing how to follow the correct things. And spirit is much more subtle than the very loud shadow and like very chaotic, like in your face, dangling, we'll call it poison apples. Temptations, distractions, fear, timelines, false. And even in the spiritual community, I feel like it's also designed partly as I don't want to say designed. The shadow got in everywhere. There was nothing exempt to that. Religion was a very big component, but so was spirituality. And I see it to this day. People cutting karmic contracts. You need those. You need those cord attachments. And I've talked about that. You have to learn one lesson to the next to rise. And it's not as complicated as we want to think it is. But we can't bypass. So if we don't seek out internal guidance, because there's a detachment there, right? But our higher self knows, our heart knows, spirit's all around you. It's in the universe. It's in everything. Co-creation becomes much more easier. We ask, we get clarity, and then we proceed. We don't assume and we don't think our way through it. Okay. We have to feel our way through it. We have to be omnipresent. Your body is going to tell you more than your mind. Period. You need to be able to feel. So this brings us back to the cards, emotions and crystal keys. We have to feel everything. And this is why, they talked about in the beginning of the ascension work I was doing that even substances, even marijuana, will numb some of your ability to feel. Our emotions, we have compounded them so much because we were taught not to listen to them. We were taught to run the hell away from them. We were taught not to follow our heart, but to follow our mind. We were taught to follow logic. And so we have compounded emotions. They boom and come on top of each other. And this is where we get triggers. This is where we get all these things. And our emotions are so heavy sometimes it's hard to sit with them. But literally all you have to do is ask for the layer you need. Slow it down, okay? You don't need everything at once. We can't do that. It's just, what do I need right now? Show me what I need to feel right now and allow myself to release that and see what your body does. Okay. The body is the key. Emotions are an absolute key. What makes an empath different from somebody who's not an empath? They're in tune with their emotions. And that's where we're going to connect with each other. And that's where I can feel your emotions or the energies. Think of everything in frequency. Okay. Push out all the rest of the muck because you don't really know where the shadow is. You don't really know what it is. It doesn't matter. Titles don't matter. What matters is vibration, energy, emotions, and energy and motion. Okay. Your body's going to tell you when something's not right. Your body's going to tell you when you need healing, not the mind. Your body's going to help. I'm getting a lot of chills. Your body's going to help guide you. And there's no excuse, right? Because it's never about shame and blame or judgment. Nobody's better or less than. It's just about what have I been doing and why? And what do I need to change what I've been doing? I need to first just stop, drop, and listen to your body, not to others, not to anything, because you can't fake a true awakening. You cannot fake a true awakening. It's going to happen through within you. Okay? Not from an external source. It's going to happen through within you. So in order to co-create, I'm receiving those signals by my connection, your sixth senses, they call it that, right? I'm able to feel, I'm able to sense, I'm able to hear audibly. I'm able to know what's coming my way. So numbers, do I know what to do with them? They're not just a synchronicity. They're communications, they're frequency lines. They're ways to ride the waves of frequency and sound. Okay? The world has everything we need. We were taught against using it. Okay? That is the message. We need to surrender to the divine, and it's going to come within you. You cannot co-create with spirit if you are not internally in you and connected to your emotions and having an awareness in what all of your senses are doing and saying to you. And if we have compounded emotions, we have to stop, drop, and listen. We have to work through a layer at a time. I need a bite size, right? But even like psychology and therapy and all of these kind of things, we're taught to kind of ruminate in the sadness. We're taught to talk and think and talk and think until we're blue in the face. And it's like, stop, just stop, feel. So that's where hypnotherapy I really enjoyed, because I bypass you needing to be in your critical mind. We have to do that. We have to do that as a whole. Now, when I have to say this too before I go into the workshop, when I was learning hypnotherapy, clinical hypnotherapy, you realize that that is not a knowledge base that is not used against you. In other words, it's weaponized against you. Religion actually is one of the bigger ones that uses every piece of hypnotherapy. And when people learn, I mean, I already knew that as a spiritual awakening person who've already gone through all that, but a lot of people were like, they had to take a day to process all that information. The government's not out of sight of that either. They know how to do everything to make it to where, and that's why they use the term sheeple, right? It's almost like we're all just kind of zombified and we just take things to what we're fed, and we feel powerless. We feel like we have no control. We feel like we can't escape. And one of the biggest debates in psychology is free will. Did you know that? Do y'all know that? I literally have people with master's degrees and PhDs talking to me all the time about this, saying, well, it's highly debatable. You don't really have free will. We have the illusion of free will. We have a choice in the moment. Like, it's just choices. You have free will, but that's what they used against you. It's been weaponized. We don't feel like we can come out of that and be safe. And that was their goal. Okay. We absolutely have free will. Here's the thing about that. Nothing can happen to you. My Kundalini awakening didn't happen just to me, happened through me, but I wasn't expecting it. Like, I wasn't doing things to cause it. But looking back, like, I was just following these little nudges. I was going inward. I started using breathing. I started doing these things. And then within like 4 months, it was boom, it happened. Happened through me. Okay. Nothing happens to you, including your karma, I see this other spiritual person who talks about like all the weight from your ancestors and all this. You are not outside of your lessons, period. It's nobody's punishing you. And God doesn't punish us. It doesn't. There's no punishment. And there should not be for you either. Never. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's lesson. It's just what lessons we have to learn. Okay? I've seen people with big karma to clear. And then you see people with the regular Blaze's blueprint because that was the blueprint we lived in. And we just have to, they call it escaping it. I just call it healing. Healing out of it, getting your power back. Okay. So with everything, it's power depletion. Where am I giving my power away? Because nobody can take it, but you can give it. But it doesn't mean they won't manipulate you. Like emotional manipulation in relationships, you know what I mean? If you have a big heart, people will use that against you, those kinds of things. So we have to be in our own power, and we have to be mindless. Please understand words and be careful of their validity and the power they truly hold. Even in the other work, the psychology side, mindful is used all the time. And every time I hear it, I'm like, ooh, the vibration of that word. So think of everything in vibrations, frequency. Tune into each frequency by tuning into your emotions, every layer of your emotions. Don't be afraid of them. Spirit will help you. God is good. Angels are good. We have to ask, hey, body, hey, universe, whatever, even if you don't believe in it, just literally say, I choose to only see what I need to see right now and see what happens. I choose to release only what I need to release right now. Show me what I need to learn right now. But then don't think. You have to just be aware. And it will show you. You will feel it. You will see. And it's going to change your reality. Okay? Let go of the muck and all of the chaos, including in the spiritual community. And you will find freedom. Okay? Because the world we lived in was an illusion from every piece of that blueprint. So let's see now, if you're ready, if you're still with me, and y'all can hear me okay, right? Let's get into our healing. If y'all are ready for that, this is an ascension-based healing. Okay? Yay! Okay. A little bit of coffee. Y'all, and if you think you're not going to have to be vulnerable and do things that it's growth. Growth can be a beast, right? But it's a good one. Like, who are you working for? You or somebody else? That's the question. And generally people will go until they're done suffering. Because now if you're not whole, it's going to feel like suffrage. Right? We're going to feel lost. We're going to have struggles. And that was part of the message somewhere. I don't know where I saw that. Where was that message? That was this one. Okay. Life is a series of constant, I'm reading backwards. Life is a series of constantly shifting cycles. When we resist change, we resist the normal flow of life and create unnecessary stress. Go with the flow. You will be surprised where it leads. And this also goes with the post I put yesterday. Flow with a crystal that is in the crystal grid, by the way. This one. Okay. Flow. We think we need to do things at a certain timeline. That's a false timeline. We just need to tune inward and go with the flow. Your body will show you the flow. Okay? I'm so glad you guys can hear me now. Sorry about that. That's why we need this card. That's what this card means. Overflow. Energy. Multiple hands. Multiple layers. Just slow down because you can tune into everything if we're just present. Think of everything in vibrations, and that is where you're going to surrender to the divinity within you. Okay? There's no expectations. Please throw those away. Yes, we have an assumption happening that we can't bypass, and yes, every step matters. But if we think about, oh God, I have to do that's going to throw you into chaos. Just say, Spirit, show me what I need. God is good. He's going to get you there. but you have to know how to hear him and what to do. Okay. Show me, what do I need to learn? And just wait until something makes sense and it'll show itself to you. Is it always easy? No. Are you going to have resistance? Yes. Yes. Resistance shows in distractions, energy where you have to push past it. Things like fear will rise, and that's where you've given your power away to those. So that's when immediately you call your power back and clear this fear, clear this false timeline. I'm going to clear my mind, feel into your heart, literally just sit your focus here and breathe here and breathe here and breathe here. If you feel an emotion, go into your body where you feel it the most, breathe in and release it. Literally do that. Okay. Just breathe into where you feel it in your body and say, give me what I can handle. Show me what I need to see. I'm ready to release you. Just say those things. And that's how you will release it, and do it layer by layer. Not everything at once. You don't need that. God will give you everything you need to get where you need to get as quick as you need to get it. Okay. Does this make sense? If y'all have any questions, ask me. I'm going to get into the healing now. All right. I don't know what's coming. We are in some powerful energies, some powerful times. We are going into a full blue moon. I can't remember. I'm not an astrology studier, but all the totalities of what it is always comes through. It's just important. These are very powerful, powerful energies. And that's really all it's about, right? The vibration is up there, right? Let's just let go of titles. It's a high vibration. So I have set the intention. I have called in the beings. I have set highest light in and highest light out. Whenever you find this, it is for you. All I ask is for you to be present and not let anything distract you. If anything comes in to distract you, it's just going to allow you to anchor into the healing more and more and more. Ascension, the workshops, the healings that I do are layered, and everything I say matters from beginning to the end. So just be present. No expectations. You will get healing. You will have healing. We can't process it all in one sitting. So just give yourself time to process it out. Saint Germain is here with the Akasha Records. Your blueprint, your soul blueprint, your soul path is opening up for you. And that's what I'm hearing right now. I'm calling in the sun and the moon, very powerfully so. The sun and the moon. We're going to start out with the sun above us and the moon below. It's usually the opposite. So we need a recalibration, and that's what they're telling me. But even for the earth, so I see it for the earth and all of us here. We are starting out with the sun above us, right above us, and the moon below. Now on my grid, the moon is at the north and the sun is at the south. Didn't I say that? Yeah, this is important. A paradigm shift is required. Excuse me. They're also showing me the poles. The poles are shifting. The poles are shifting, but it is going to be like a floop, like a sudden floop. But so we think it's fast, but it's actually already occurring, right? But it's going to feel so fast. It's going to feel intense. It's like a magnetic pole shift. For whatever that's worth, that's coming up now. We'll see what that means going forward. So as I'm tuning into those energies, I feel stuff in our solar plexus. So before I continue any further, I want to draw some light down from the heavens above. Now, this is octave light. This is like the rays, the blues, the pastel blues and pinks and greens, the beautiful rays of light. It looks like northern lights. It's just rays of light. They're very beautiful. Like, certain angels come through certain frequency colors, right? It's kind of like that. They're just vibrational frequency rays, but they're 7D. And I'm going to use them to ground us, to open up, because there's resistance coming in here. Like, I feel it. I feel a lot of pressure from my solar plexus and my chest. And it's like almost taking my breath away. So I'm going to bring down these rays, the cosmic rays from the heavens above. I'm going to bring them down along with cord connections from your higher self if you need that connection. So just be present. Somebody needs to do this. Rub your hands together. If you feel that is you, just rub your hands together to clear some resistance. As I'm bringing the rays down, they're coming through our upper chakras. We have a cosmic chakra. So it's out beyond. It's almost like a second aura, and that's what I'm seeing right now. So we have our auric field, right? That's very close to our vessel, but we have another one, and that's what I'm seeing, and they're calling it a cosmic aura. It's very high up there. Like if we have chakras that rise above our head, our soul star chakra, all these chakras, right? And they go pretty high, and those are our higher dimensional chakras. We also have our like 12th dimensional auric field. And it's, so how do I explain this from what I'm seeing it? If we go into the soul level, it's an aura. It's like an aura. We let go of the physical vessel and we go into our soul aura. They're calling it a cosmic aura. Does that make sense to you guys? I haven't seen it like this before, but that's what we're tuning into right now. And as I tune into that, my solar plexus feels like it's going to be smushed. That's how it feels, like a lot of yuck here. So if you're feeling anything at all, just take a deep breath. Just take a deep breath and be present. If you want to close your eyes, you can close your eyes, but you don't have to close your eyes. Just hear me. Just follow my voice. There's no control here. Just do what feels right, but keep your legs uncrossed for me. And if you can, put your feet on the floor. Otherwise, it's okay if you don't. Just uncross your legs, uncross your arms, and allow your chest to be open. That's all. And just stay with me. There's no rush. There's no need to speed through this. That's what we're so used to. Hurry up. I don't have time. You do, actually. Just breathe. I need to sit for a moment because the cosmic rays are at that aura. It's the soul aura. I've never actually mentioned it like that, but I can see it. I can literally see it. It's a soul aura. So we're becoming one with our higher selves. We're becoming one at the soul level for the ascension. That's what an ascension is. And the earth is like, we're no longer going to be separate from the totality of who we are. And so this aura is coming in now. This aura is activating. This aura is awakening. It's our soul aura. And I see it as separate. I have to say that right now it's still a little bit separate. And the earth has one too. It's like if you go out beyond the dome, the earth is both round and flat. There's no disputing that. We have a flat plane of existence, and then we do have a round dome. And when my DM shifted, it completely changed to light. It was quite beautiful. So I've seen it, but it's beyond that. So the earth even has another layer, and it's like a soul aura. That's what they're calling this. Same with us. So you go up out beyond all of our chakras, and it's a soul aura. It's in the cosmic energy. It's in the etheric flow. And this will connect us to further clairs, further abilities, just less. We're going to start combining with our soul aura. So eventually it will become expansive. We will expand into it, and it will expand into us over these next, I don't know, year, maybe two. I don't know how long. They're not, but it's starting. Like we are becoming one with our soul. So that is why some people call this a portal as well, because we are activating a new light frequency. And in the beginning, I said there was a new, almost like light code activations. Yeah. It's also going to act as a protective barrier. And as those cosmic rays are coming down, I'm going to now light the sage, because there is some also nasty energy. I don't want to use the word nasty, but there is some dense energies that I feel in my solar plexus that don't belong. They don't want this, right? They don't want this. So just if you feel any pressure, if you feel anything, just breathe. Whatever you feel, just take a breath when you feel you need it. Just notice your body. Become aware. Listening to my words. All you have to do is give permission to receive. Okay? Give her permission to ride the wave. I'm being told to tune into some light language. This is language of the sun and the moon. Now remember, right now they're opposite. I see the sun above us and the moon below, and we're going to flip that by the end of this workshop because we need to. It's a recalibration. Ooh, there's even resistance going into my throat. You guys, we don't understand light language from our head. I can't even receive it from my head. If I do that, I don't even know what it's going to come out as. I get it from the heart, and you're going to receive it in your heart. So just open. It's not tongues. It's literally just language of the gods. It's just divine language. So I do see the energy of Azrael. And he shows him black wings, which is like the angel of death, but it's also rebirth, okay? But it's like we are dying. Our earth is dying for what it was. And I'm not going to say our earth is going to die. It's not that at all, okay? But what we were is dying. What this earth was is dying. And we can no longer do the things the same way. So if we resist the change, we resist the rise, okay? So the Nile is coming in the image as I'm saying these words. Now remember, if you do watch my videos, the Nile is significant. They call it the river of justice. And past the Nile, when we are able to cross the Nile, we get to the Tigris River. New earth life force. That's what they're saying. I am getting also the infinity symbol, which is the life-death cycle, the final portal, life-death cycle, rebirth. Resisting the change is what resists the ascension. Okay, so now I'm drawing the cosmic rays down further through our upper chakras. So we've passed that auric field. It's like activating our soul aura. It's literally like I can see our physical vessel and then I see our aura. Our aura is a reflection of our energy vibrations. It's a reflection of our chakras. Our internal chakras connect to our aura. Okay, that's true. So where you're heightened in colors in your aura, you're heightened in your chakras. And so sometimes we might have very vibrant blues and greens, and that's because we're tuning into those chakras. Those chakras are more open, they're more radiant. Healers will radiate in those colors quite often, reds and yellows. It tunes into your chakras, okay? Does that make sense? So when we incorporate a soul chakra, this is a different frequency. This is a different color palette. This is connecting to all of our chakras, all of our existence, and our soul blueprint. And that's that aura. So right now they're showing me there's some separation to our soul auric field. And that separation is what's going to start being eliminated from this day forward. Even more, right? Because it's now active. Now this is also happening for the earth. The earth poles are already shifting, but it's going to be like a big boom, a big, huge magnetic shift. What was up must come down. What was north will now go south. What was west will become the east. It's really, truly going to be like if you take a coin and you flip it over, different reality, the other side of the coin. Hope that makes sense. I hope I'm explaining that properly. So the cosmic rays are now coming down through our upper chakras. I'm hearing the 33rd, 32nd, going down even further, going down into our 20 chakras. So 22nd, heightened in the 22nd. There's some anxiety there. There's some, it looks like murkiness. So it's like if I look at space dust, that's kind of what it looks like, dust, like a lot of particles are in the way there. There's also a matrix component here in the 22nd chakra for somebody. So I need to undo the matrix blueprint there. The matrix blueprint, separation from the self, the matrix blueprint in the 22nd chakra. To me, the matrix blueprint shows in numbers, where the new earth blueprint shows in language of God. So it's like written language. It looks like alien-esque language. That's how it shows. So we're going down now to the 19th, the 18th, the 17th chakras with the cosmic rays. And I'm starting to feel some tingling and pressure in our forehead area, in the head, in the forehead area. And at this point, I need my Jupiter moon oil. So this has certain things in it. Jupiter moon was interesting because when I channeled this oil to create it, I then had to learn what they mean by Jupiter moon. And when Jupiter aligns with the moon, it does certain things. And this is about full power blossoming. To rise, we're calling our power back. That's what it means to escape the matrix. We call our power back, and we don't let anything take our power. We have to gain control of our power. That is the only control we want to have, is our power. Our choices and our power. Okay? But if you're battling, let's say, your emotions, and you feel like it's a power control thing battle, it's an internal battle, and you need to surrender to your emotions because they are there to show you something. But we need to hear them, and we need to ask what they need us to see, those kinds of things. We need to be calling our power back through them. We don't let them take over. We talk to them. Right? We sit with them. We become aware of them. We release the need to battle. That's what I'm hearing here. Now we're going into the 16th chakra. Now this one's interesting. So I'm heightening in this one. When I undid the Sistine Chapel, it came through the 16th chakra. That's where they tuned in from it. So when you understand what the 16th chakra is, it makes more sense. We are at the soul blueprint level. Not the conscious awareness yet. Okay, we are at the soul blueprint level, not the conscious awareness yet. Now I'm also calling in the energy of the trees and the seas, the water, the trees. And we need to rub our hands together again. Now, remember the sun was above and the moon was below. They're starting to move. So now we're going to have the sun moving to the east and the moon moving to the west. And that's where they're going to be. So as they're moving, I'm starting to feel denseness clearing out of our energy field. As they recalibrate, they're going to help us release disdain, resistance, fear, judgment, grief. There's some grief in here. So some grief of like loss, some grief of trauma. We tend to bury this stuff so that we can go about our day because we're not taught what to do with it. We're just kind of taught to sit in it and let it process, but that's not always the case. Generally, grief should not be overwhelming, but it should come when we need to see and feel and hear. And it's hard. Don't get me wrong. Loss is hard. I've had loss. I've trauma, all of the things. But we have to understand too that that's life. It's a life and death cycle, right? Nobody ever really goes anywhere. They just lose a physical vessel. It's a frequency shift. connect. And that helps us understand that they're still right there with you. And we can see them in different ways if we open up to it. And they let go of all of the stuff from Earth. So they're actually free. And we may be mad because now we're left here alone, but we're not. Generally speaking, our loved ones live vicariously through our eyes. They're riding our wave. Anyway, so life does cycle. Good. I'm not downplaying loss at all. I'm helping the grief process. So I'm bringing the cosmic rays down further now, the 15th, 14th, and 13th chakra. Now we need to do something with the 16th and the 13th chakra. Hang on a second here. So I need to remove some matrix blueprint for some of you here. And I don't know, I see a lot more energies than what's present. So this is also including those who will watch later. Spirit knows. Spirit's very good. It like widens the energy field. There is really no time separation. So it all makes sense. But as I'm doing this, I'm feeling a lot of tingling in my third eye. And then the causal chakra is also starting to activate and awaken here for some as we're removing some of this matrix blueprint. Oh, this is pretty big though. Like I feel like an awakening status for someone, for somebody, for some. Because as I'm doing this, I feel like a shift, like a paradigm shift, like a light shift, an awareness of my lens. When you have an awakening, right? So it's hard to put your finger on to explain. It's just one day when things were seen one way and the next they're seen a whole different way. And it can make you feel a little cuckoo. It's true. So now I need to really heighten in the 13th and the 16th chakra. So we're going to balance through the moon and the sun here. We need the moon and the sun here. Right? So right now the moon is on the left, the west, and the sun is on the right. And I feel like that was intentional on Spirit's behalf. Everything is. There's no coincidences here. But I need to take those line energies into our chakras. The moon on the left and the sun on the right. Very intentional. And that's going to go down and connect with the third eye, your pineal gland. Eye of Horus, eye of Ra. God. God is not separate from the divine masculine and the divine feminine. That is God's creation, masculine and feminine, a balance. And that's also what the earth is. That's why if the masculine and feminine is out of balance, Adam and Eve, that's what happened, then the earth gets out of balance. And it's easier to have what happened happen. So as I'm saying that, I feel like some rubble, some debris is being cleared off the chest and the Merkaba. Now, I feel like the moon and the sun are coming closer because I feel pressure coming towards our head, like the ears. I feel pressure, lots of pressure. So it's kind of connecting into our third eye through the 16th and 13th chakra. But the moon is coming in on the left and the sun is coming in on the right, literally in your chakras. And it's causing like separation from the masculine and the feminine to start to dissolve or whatever is needed for you. It causes on a personal level. So this is an individual level healing in a collective format. So your blueprint, your Akasha records, your soul blueprint is here, and whatever you need is present. So it's not a one size one fits all. I don't do these from a book. This is divine guided. This is literally guided through the one. Okay. So it's whatever you need at a soul level. And it's massive. These aren't little, but they take time to process. And it causes like those full circle moments. Okay. Now we can let shadow get in the way. And you don't want to do that. That's part of the lessons to learn. This is giving your power away to judgment, to fear, to ego, to greed. any of those things. That's outside of the blueprint of God. So I'm feeling a lot of pressure. So I'm going to start bringing the light down now from the 13th chakra. These are the cosmic rays. I see blues, greens, pinks, all like the colors of the rainbow, but very pastel-y. And it's coming down from the 13th chakra into your 12th and your 11th chakra. Stay with us, because you might find resistance. So I'm invoking some shadow. I'm invoking some resistance. And all you have to do is sit in it. Do not allow it to take you away. So just anchor into the trees and the seas, anchor into my voice, and stay. It is a choice. We are in control of our choices and our power, free will. You always have free will. Like, God doesn't hold you hostage, but the shadow wants to. The shadow wants to, because that's how it gets the power. It uses God's power through you, because it fell from God. Make sense? Ooh. So remember how I said we have a soul aura activating? I feel it in the solar plexus again. So it's connecting more to our solar plexus. Solar plexus is our soul reflection. Soul, sun, solar plexus. And we have the moon on the left still and the sun on the right. And now they're going to activate, or they're going to recalibrate even more. The moon is going to now go up to the north, and the sun is going to now go to the south. And as I'm feeling that, I get so many chills on my left side. And I see the Merkaba. So the Merkaba, whether yours was active or not, it's whatever you need. So if you need your Merkaba awakened, if it's separate, it's just for you. But the Merkaba is coming into play. So some of us have more work done. Some of us have higher frequencies because of the work we've done. So we'll get a different activation. We'll get a different whatever we need. Okay, this is true. This is very layered. So for some of us, it's balancing the Merkaba, but there's a couple being activated, completely awakened, activated, and healed. There's also some that need the new divine masculine connection, because we actually truly did have a walk-in. His soul shifted, and that affected the moon. That affects all divine masculine connections. So I actually see that DNA going into somebody's Merkaba on the masculine side. But for the rest of us, it's getting balanced. It's getting cleared. I can see like Metatron coming in and like doing his thing. You know what I mean? Like making sure they're moving, flowing, grooving. And you will start to eliminate any separation you have from the heart to the Merkaba. And I get a vision of our soul path. Now the earth is alive. She has her own soul path, okay? But it's all the same ascension process. So it comes through the earth, and then it goes to you. It comes through the earth, and then it goes to you, okay? So the earth is a nurturer. The earth is a giver. She provides life. She provides support. She provides meals. Now, what I'm saying here, when I'm saying this, is some crops are going to die. Some areas might experience famine and water drying up, where others are going to start to experience life and growth and rebirth. Do you feel me? This is what I'm seeing in her life cycle. In the earth, some places are going to dry. Some places are going to be cut off from life support. And sometimes in a very big way. And then other ones, we're going to be like in sunshine and weather patterns that are supportive. And we're going to have water sprout up that's clean and pure and fresh and nurturing and healthy, and big shifts where others start to experience the opposite of that. And that's a reason for that. Okay. And that's part of her life cycle right now. That's what she's showing me. The earth is showing me this. This is going to have to do with crops and water, like food and water, dry, food and water, dry, barren. And then new earth, rebirth, new cycle, new life. continental drift, but it's part of the pole shift. This is all part of a pole shift, and it aligns with the sun and it aligns with the moon. And as I say that, I'm coming down now through the 11th, the 10th, the 9th, the 8th, and into our crown and third eye. Okay, so in the crown, I'm seeing the undoing of some matrix blueprint for somebody, whoever needs that. Everybody else is getting like debris removed. It's upgrading, it's expanding the crown. So it's either awakening, opening, it's whatever you need. This is not a one size fits all. It cannot be. We're all at different parts. We're all at different necessities. And so it's whatever you need going into your crown. But I do see different things. So I see some light code activations coming in here. I also see an undoing of the matrix. I see a moon activation coming in on the left side of the crown, and it kind of flows back and forth a little bit, but there's some new DNA, divine masculine activation going into the crown, you guys. And then I also see with the earth, the divine masculine is filling up with the moon. He's filling up with the moon. He is like a beast. Like a beast is tired of the battle, and he's like, and becomes like a warrior stance. And that's what I see with the divine masculine. So he's literally like, if you had, I get like what do they call those humans that turn into wolves at night? That's what I see. It's like the moon is causing the beast to rise to the masculine. That's the best way I can put that. The beast is coming to play, like, rah, like awakening the warrior, awakening the beast within, the wolf, the power. And as I see that happen, I know I'm seeing two things at once. I'm seeing us, and then I'm seeing the divine masculine and the earth. So bear with me. But as I see the beast awaken within the divine masculine, you know how like you have an atomic wave of energy? That's how I see it. It's like, rah, if he like growls or whatever, it's like, whoom, a wave of energy amongst the collective. So this moon is a very powerful moon, which makes sense. Blue moon, divine masculine, awareness, awakening, and it's going to spread across the collective soul. And that's how they're showing me that. It's like, I just step up and I fill with my power. It's like filling the divine masculine with the moon, his power. And he just like, rah, rises with energy and rah, rises with energy. And it sends out that wave. So when the masculine becomes aware, the collective soul becomes more aware, just as the feminine. And when they're both aware, we can see way more clearly through the collective. Okay. We are all, it takes you back to Adam and Eve, the divine masculine, the divine feminine. All of mankind is connected to that awareness, the sun and the moon. It's no separation. Sekhmet and Horus, no separation. Jesus and Mary Magdalene, no separation. It's Christ's consciousness. Okay. And when the divine masculine and feminine are in balance, when they're in full awareness and soul path aligned, all of mankind is the same. Balance, strength, awareness, connection. We can all see clearly, and that veil of illusion will fade. It has to come through that balanced alignment. So now I'm drawing the light from the third eye. So you have a lot going on in the third eye as well, from the eye of Horus to the eye of Ra activation here through the sun and the moon. Excuse me. The divine masculine, the sun, and the moon. Excuse me again. And now we're going to also draw it into the throat. So there's a little blockage as I'm going into the throat. And I see a light being stepping forward. I see a light being, and I see activations going into the throat, and it looks like language of God. I'm seeing a particular symbol. I need to draw this symbol. So in the beginning, I said, if you get a download of something to draw it. I need to draw this symbol. Like where? I need to draw this symbol before we move on. I keep hearing crescent moon, by the crescent moon, by the crescent moon. I don't know what all that means yet. Crescent moon, crescent moon, crescent moon, crescent moon. By the crescent moon, the sun will shift too. An awareness like no other will suddenly come through. A sudden shift of consciousness, a sudden shift of connection. And I'm getting really dizzy as I'm saying that. Like super, super dizzy. By the crescent moon, the sun will shift too. A sudden shift of awareness will come through. By the crescent moon. I hear crescent moon very loud, and then I see water, lots of water. So as I'm saying that, I see some muck drawing out of your system. So remember, I'm going into the throat, and that is where I saw this symbol, and that is where I will draw this symbol later fully. But I see the symbol within the throat, and I need to open the throat. It's very resistant. So I see stuff drawing out, but it's like drawing out of the entire connection of the self, not just the throat. It looks like dark particles. Like if you, like in a movie, they'll depict like that dark energy coming out. It's kind of like that. It looks like particleized darkness. It's the best way I can explain it. And it's like coming out from the center, and it's being released. It's being released. It's being transmuted. And then I get the word atomization within the self. There we go. Ooh. All right. So there's some real big density here in the throat. So I'm going to draw more of the moon down. Now remember, the moon is now above, coming down into the throat, and the sun is below. And it needs to rise up through our feet, our ankles, our calves, our knees, our thighs, going all the way up. The silver column to the throat, our all connected column to the throat. So it's not going all the way through the root and everything yet because we haven't opened it up. It's kind of bypassing into the throat. Okay, I'm being told to grab the drum. So I will grab the drum, and I will try to do it away from the microphone, okay? Gentle. Sometimes the most gentle we can be, the stronger we are. When we can find softness within the infernal, the stronger that we are. When we can be calm in the most significant storm, the stronger that we are. Strength. 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 I see some battles. So but it's weird, y'all, because I see it as like old time, like Native American land, and I see headdresses, and I see fire, and I see like arrows and a war. The battle has always been the same. The war has always been the same. It's just different clothes. Different clothes, a different perception of purpose. But it's always been the same. So no matter the battle on the outside, can we remain calm? On the inside, calm, strength. Strength is required to remain calm, because if we can remain calm, we hold that frequency for the earth. Relinquishing the battle. That's what I'm seeing. So I literally get an image of a Native American person. I don't know what you want to call them. Tribe. There's politically, it's just a person of connection to earth, soul tribe, whatever you want to call them. They are putting down their battle. They are putting down the battle. That's what I see. Put down the battle. Put down the battle. And I hear that repeatedly. Put down the battle. Put down the war. Put down the need to fight. And I'm not talking about the government doing that. They're going to fight till the bitter end. It's always a battle. But us as a collective soul, the battle is not the way. For where you find a battle within, put down the battle. Find the calm. Ask for clarity. Ask for sense of light. For calm. For where we find the calm, we find the strength. There is no need to judge. Who cares? Don't go to people trying to change them. Only worry about healing you. For why are they invoking something in you that makes you feel like you need to judge them? That is a reflection of you. Put down the battle. The throat is opening up. So I get the vision again of the Nile and all the bloodshed. All the bloodshed from all the wars before, all of the carnage and the chaos and the torment, even the bloodshed in Mount Shasta. If you watched me clear it part 2, they made a divine masculine slit the throat of the feminine, and these were Native American people. This is why you have the Hopi prophecy. This is why you have the Hopi prophecy. Hear me. Because they made us go against each other. They wanted bloodshed. They wanted battle. They wanted comparison, division, battle. For where we are in battle against each other, we are weakened at the core, at the soul. We don't need sacrifice, and we don't need bloodshed. We need love and unity. We need to become whole. The gods are asking that we become whole. It is up to you. But that is the only way to rise. I see all this blood across the planet, from wars upon wars upon wars, upon carnage, upon sacrifice. God would never ask you to sacrifice anyone. And God did not sacrifice his son. We can sacrifice as a person to help the collective. That's true. But God would never ask us to be tortured, murdered, spill blood amongst the earth. So I see all this blood. It's like rising out of the earth and going into the river to be purged, to be cleansed, to be purged, to be cleansed. It's necessary. I see all of this blood, kind of like when we did the cleansing with the blood of Jesus. This is almost like the opposite, y'all. I see all this blood coming out of the earth, and this is connecting to our throat chakra, because I haven't even gone past that yet. But it's our truth. It's like the warrior, the battle within, the battle this earth has been created upon. And I see all this bloodshed coming out of the earth, through the waterways, through the earth, through the earth itself, the trees, all this blood just being called forth to the Nile. All this blood being called forth to the Nile. Now, when I dried the Nile, it turned blood red. And I asked God what that meant. And he said, it's the purge. The purge of cleansing what does not belong. Drawing blood to the Nile. It's all this bloodshed. And with that bloodshed, I hear tears, I hear fears, I hear death. Heartache, grief, dismemberment. That's trauma. We all carry it through our soul, through our vessel, through our energy. We're all connected. There is no separation from that. So what one does affects the other, affects the other, affects the other, affects the other, affects the earth. The masculine pitted against the feminine pitted against the masculine, the war, the battle. Surrender. Surrender the battle. Surrender the battle. That's loud. That is very loud. We have to surrender the battle. No wars, nobody against each other. Nobody's better or less than, and nobody deserves to die. Nobody. We also weren't made to watch our loved ones die so quickly. That's also trauma. So all this is drawing out into the Nile in the form of blood. I see all this blood. It's like reversing it. It's like coming out of the earth and into the Nile. Love already won. Now it must win within you. Why are you battling? What is your battle for? Put down the battle. Put down the war. Put down your arrows. Put down the need to be right. Put down the fight. We have to. It's like if you just put down your arrows, this is the image I get. And I feel like, I don't know if it happened to some, I don't know, but I literally see it as like this person, kind of like that orangey skin, very Native American, wearing a headdress, wearing a traditional dress, and they put down their like an arrow or like a staff, their weapon. They put down their weapon and then they kneed. What is this resembling? They kneeled, they got down on their knees, they got down on the knee, and like they put their head down and they surrendered. They refused to fight anymore. This brings me to some battle. What battle was this? Why am I not hearing the title? I see it through black and white images. A dance was born from this. That's what I see. I see them dancing and I see them chanting and I see the ghost battle, something. But they surrendered and they refused to battle anymore. It's just a refusal to battle anymore, a refusal to fight. It's not because they won. Nobody won. And a lot of power was taken away. But it's because they didn't want to battle anymore. Because the battle does no good for anyone. And they know that one day it will return. One day it will return. One day the sun will be reborn. One day it will return. One day. Put down the battle, for it is now the return. So I go back to Mount Shasta part 2. If you watched my video, the masculine, he was a Native American, and they got him to slit the throat of his feminine, and the blood went into the mountain. It was a sacrifice that they forced, but definitely not one of light. And it makes me feel sick, and I feel this in the throat. It's like cleansing that blood, sucking out that blood, sucking out the sacrifice, sucking out all the bloodshed and putting it into the Nile. It's a purge. And as that's happening, the earth is octaving. She's raising in frequency. This moon is helping to shift frequency for the earth and all of mankind. Everything is, though, right? There's nothing outside of that right now. But this is very interesting because I see it cleansing a lot of blood, purging a lot of bloodshed, cleansing it, but it's putting it in the Nile. And that brings me back to when I did the Nile. And I asked God what that meant for it to turn blood red. And he literally said, everything we're going to purge off the earth. That's what it represents. Oh, and then I also see Sekhmet. So Sekhmet's throat was slit into water. Her throat was slit into water. Then I always see a waterfall. Ever since the Nile was connected to Sekhmet. This is a full circle moment I forgot about. So there was a waterfall and her throat was slit at the waterfall. Oh my gosh. This is very interesting. See how it's like there's really no separation. It's taking me to Mount Shasta, but also to Sekhmet. Her throat was slit. She was murdered and blood shed into the water. And I see a waterfall. I always see a waterfall. And then it's like her body was thrown in. Or fell in. Whatever. And that's how Sekhmet died. I remember Horus was also murdered, but I never saw the totality of how he was murdered. Only that he was. And the moon, the power of the moon was taken. The power of the sun was taken. The battle no more. It's reversing the battles. This is like reversing and I feel it in the throat. This is very interesting. So there's almost like 2 past lives converging, or 2 different pieces of work that I did that are converging here. So this is so weird. So you'd have to watch them. Mount Shasta Part 2. It was very painful for me to clear because my DM wasn't with me to do it. But it had to do with the feminine getting her throat slit. And then she was thrown in as a sacrifice with the blood. And Sekhmet also had her throat slit, blood into the water, and she fell. She fell in, I don't know. And they changed the crystal in the core to darkness of the earth. So there was a crystal in the core of the earth. You talk about the crystal grid. The core was a part of that. And it was changed to darkness. And when I did the Nile workshop, we changed it back to light. There is, for some reason, right now, no separation between Mount Shasta and Sekhmet timelines. And I don't know why this is coming through. I don't, but I feel it in my throat. It's all of a sudden extremely painful right here on the right side of my throat. The right side represents the feminine to me. Eye of Ra, right side has always been the feminine. I feel the masculine, my masculine on my left. That's true. This is painful. We're still in the throat. And there's no separation here. All of mankind has to process this out too. So you are processing, you are healing, you are releasing that bloodshed through the soul blueprint. So if you think about this whole healing, we had the soul chakra, the soul auric field coming into play. All of this is connected beyond what our mind can fathom. Quantum level, whatever you want to call it. I am an ascension master. That's true. That's not a maybe. So it's hard to put a title on these things. It's hard to put understanding into them, but we can feel them. Okay. And now, oh my gosh. So blood on the cross. But this is interesting. So now I'm seeing a Jesus timeline, y'all, where he's like hanging on the cross, but he never hung on a cross. That was a lie. and there was bloodshed. And this is the image that is ingrained in our soul. It is ingrained in the soul of every man and woman on this planet, is Jesus hanging on a cross through the hands. Okay, the nails through the hands. Now we're going, this is so weird. So we had Sekhmet, we had the Mount Shasta coming through here. Adam and Eve's come up a little bit, but now I'm seeing Jesus on a cross. Jesus did not die on a cross. I repeat that. I saw it, I processed his death, and I undid the Holy Grail, which was not a cup, but it was connected. It was a contract written in Jesus's blood. Here we are with blood. So when I undid the Holy Grail, I called back his blood. Okay. And I undid that spell casting, basically, is what it was. That was the false resurrection on Easter. It's all connected. So they're showing me right now, you guys, I didn't see this coming. So I hope you're still paying attention, because I don't know what's happening. They're showing me Jesus on the cross, and I see the nails. It's like railroad ties, it almost looks like. And this is the image that's ingrained in our head. And he has this barbed wire on his head, and he's hanging down, and he's like pretty much naked except for what looks like almost like a cloth diaper. And his legs are crossed, and there's blood dripping everywhere. Blood dripping everywhere. Why are they showing me this? Because that's not how he died. They did poison him, and he bled out of every orifice, and then they got Mary to steal his blood, and they wrote the contract, and then they burned him. That's how he really died. I know this because I processed it back in 2021 and 2022. This is what's ingrained into Christ consciousness. This is the image that we have nailed into our psyche of him on a cross bleeding. The cross broke. It was an ankh. So when they separated the divine masculine from the feminine, the ankh broke and became the cross. And they depicted him hanging there because they stole his soul. They did torture him. They did murder him. That is true. And they stole his power and used it against all of you. All of you. That is true. And the blood, so all the blood, and it's weird. So I see all this like blood running down, and I see it going into the Nile. That's that one's getting me. Ooh. And it's like placing the fear of God. I don't like this image. It doesn't feel good to see him hanging there with spikes. So when I first processed the first part of his death, we got our healing powers back through our hands. And they're telling me that's significant through the spikes in his hands. They took away his ability to heal mankind. They took away his light. They took away God's healing ability. They took it away. And it's like processing this in our psyche. Oh, I did not see this coming. I'm so sorry. Don't judge it. Just ride the wave. Because it's intense, and we're going into the heart space now. So they burned him, by the way, because I'm like smelling burning flesh again. He doesn't have a grave. He was burned. He was disintegrated after they took his blood, after they did everything they did. And this image is ingrained in our psyche with the false cross and him hanging there. Now the spikes through the hands is very significant. They took away our power of healing through Christ. They took away our power of healing through God. And when I first processed the first part of his death, they gave that back. And so I keep seeing that with his hands nailed there. That's significant. And then blood coming out of his hands. And I feel like all of this is reversing through our consciousness, right? Because like as I see his blood, I see it coming down and into the Nile. I see all of this image, this ingrained, false, horrible image of him hanging on a cross with this barbed wire on his head. That's Christ consciousness. That represents Christ consciousness and cutting you off from Christ consciousness. And the railroad ties through the hands represent taking you out of that healing power, cutting it off. They stole that ability. They took it from us, from Christ's consciousness, from God's awareness, from the light of the one and the light of the sun and the moon. And oh my God, this ties into that. It ties into all the other ones I did. This is so weird. And it's a lot. So we're going through the throat and into the heart, and I feel a little nodule there. It was a lie, but everything has imagery depiction. So there's a reason they do what they do. And then the cup, they use the cup to gather his blood. Do you feel me? That's what they used to gather his. They made Mary do it, his twin flame. They made her do it and give them the blood. And then they wrote the contract in his blood, which was written in Hebrew. I know because it came through and I had to draw the blood back through that. And that was the Holy Grail. The contract was the Holy Grail, and they actually have it encased somewhere. Where is that encased? Where is that kept? It might be behind Mount Rushmore. I don't know. But that's where I always kind of see, like, they're keeping something there. They're keeping something there, right? With the mountain with the presidents carved there. Something's in there. Something's down in there. I don't know if it's that. I don't know why I'm bringing those together. I never really asked. But they really do have this contract, but it became lifeless when we called the blood back and they reunited and we undid all of that. But this is significant right now. We went from Sekhmet to Mount Shasta to now seeing the imagery, what's been ingrained in our consciousness. That was a lie, but they're showing you what they did. But you have to pay attention to details. They give you pieces of truth scattered because it will stay in your psyche. You will believe it. But they manipulate the totality of the truth. And then they burned him. That's significant. And then from there, you have the KKK, right? The big old white pointy hat dudes with scariness, and they would burn Black people on a cross. And that connected to the Illuminati. There is no separation. Like, these things are all connected. And this is in our psyche. And I'm seeing all of this. And it's going into the Nile. And we're going down further into the heart space. Like, I can literally see them. They were alive, burning on the crosses. People just like you and me. They were not less than. Most of the time it was because they were colored. But it wasn't always just them. I don't know if you guys know that, but there were other people too that were burned on crosses. And then that takes you back to Salem as well. Anybody of light, women and children, it didn't matter. They were burned, they were hung, burning significant throughout history. These are ingrained in our psyche. The battle, the war, the death, the bloodshed. That's trauma. That is psychological trauma. That is warfare. So fire's an element. Fire's an element, and so is the water. Remember the bloodshed in the water, and then we also have bloodshed in the earth, and then we have fire. So we have earth, fire, and water needing cleansed. And that's part of what we're doing here. I'm cleansing the flesh. I'm cleansing the destruction and the carnage is intentionally caused through fire. And I'm cleansing the bloodshed through the water, cleansing the bloodshed, purifying the water. And then the earth, I'm taking the blood out of the earth. This, you guys, I didn't put this together till just now. Blood is coming out of the earth. Blood is coming out of the water. Blood is coming out of fire, but not just blood and fire. Burning flesh. That's so horrible, but I feel it and I see it. it's processing out of the soul of fire. The elements are connected to the soul, our soul, which is, I also called them back from the pentagram. If you watch that part of the work, I called all elements back, and we closed down all dark portals and opened up all of the light. You guys, this is very, very, very important. This is very significant and very important. We are cleansing the elements of So I go back to that soul aura. It's all connected. Okay, this is a rebirth. This really is a rebirth. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a lot to process. It's like when they call it a reset. Oh, that's no joke. It's a reset. We're calling all of that back out of the elements because they can't carry them forward. We cannot carry this trauma, this bloodshed, and this loss in our soul blueprint. And the elements are part of that soul blueprint. And there's no separation of religion, so to speak. So I went from Sekhmet to Mount Shasta, which Mount Shasta is where they stole the root chakra to and made a portal of darkness. It was a very dark portal. The Sistine Chapel was the darkest portal. But all of the elements, it's like all of this bloodshed through the elements, all of this carnage, and with fire, it's so deeply disturbing. Like I feel flesh, bones. How many times they use fire to destroy a life? Many, many lives. Not through natural disaster. I'm talking through on a cross or for torture or whatever. And then the water, blood in the water, blood out of the earth. That was a lot. So I need to go through more of the throat and into the heart. Getting to the heart of the matter. And I keep hearing crescent moon. By the light of the crescent moon. This was for the full moon, but I keep hearing by the light of the crescent moon. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me gather the emotions so I can get back to the heart space because I keep going into sadness and just wanting to purge. Just want to purge all through the tears. These are purging out of our psyche. It is a true rebirth. The rebirth death cycle. Remember the figure 8. Everything that's come through in this is very significant. We are truly in a rebirth cycle. Our blueprint. It is a reset of mankind. And in order to rise through the reset and maintain our space in the wholeness of the one and the sun and our soul, you have to let go of the battle, the resistance to change. You have to allow these things to purge through the soul. You don't want to hold on going, no, religion is true. How dare you say that? Then you didn't watch all that was done. Because I'm not against it. I'm not anything. This is what happened. And this is what we have to process and release for each other, for the betterment of all, for everything. And the animals and earth. Oh God, it's a lot. I don't normally cry except in these things. I keep seeing the animals and I just want to cry. There's a lot of pain, a lot of bloodshed, a lot of torture being processed and purged from people to animals, and I think that's what's happening. So now I'm going to our solar plexus. And remember I said our soul chakra connected to our solar plexus is significant for becoming one with our soul. Our soul. I get the image of and I'm going to spark your shadow. But I get the image of the Pope. But there's many of them. It's not just one. But I see religious leaders. Ow, my stomach hurts. My solar plexus hurts. Ooh. I have to sit in it because the solar plexus hurts a lot, so I need to go into the pain. I need to go into the pain. I need to go into the pain for mankind. Ooh. Ooh. It's hard to get into it. It's like this thing's pushing me out and I need to go in. I feel like I'm gonna throw up. I need to go into the pain. And I see this his eyes don't look normal. They're like glowing. And I see him holding like this something like a staff, and it claims to have holy water. There is nothing holy. I'm so dizzy. There is nothing holy within this water. And they have a hat, like this big hat, and it like this robe and like purple and gold like thing over, and I see a cross hanging that's like an upside down cross, and I see an upside down cross on this hat thingy, and I see he's holding this thing and it like swings and it has holy water in it, but it's not holy water because that is not where God is. It's not where God is. It's not where God is, and it's not who God is. It's never who God was. And there are things underneath the Sistine Chapel. There are things underneath that whole area. Like Vatican Way, this whole area, I see there's like these things underneath there, and I see like ritualistic behavior, and the earth is very like dark, like gray, like not light, not light. Uh, mhm. And if you think possessions aren't real, they are. They just don't happen like you think they do. Um, sorry, this is a lot to process. I keep going into the solar plexus and it's like pushing me out. It's very painful. But this water, this is a water element, and earth again, earth, water, and I don't know where is it? There's water, there's an ocean nearby here. There's water, and I see water, and I see like gray buildings, like brick. And it's by the Sistine Chapel. There's like this whole area out, and it hurts into my sacral. It hurts into my sacral. It's like this whole area, and I see the water. I see the ocean in that area coming in here, and it's the earth wants to purge this. I need to purge this. I need to get rid of this. It's like if you take a disease on a petri dish and it like starts to infect everything around it. There's like this big infection, and that's how the earth feels about this area. It's an infection. And I see sinkholes. I get the image of it like opening up and being swallowed. And then I see the earth like becoming alive, like coming up and becoming alive and purging. This hurts. This has to purge through the collective soul, through our soul layer. I get an image of sex trafficking through religion, and it's actually quite big. And I see the image that I get, I have to say exactly how I see it. So I see them like carrying people, and I want to say they're dead, but they're not dead. It's almost like they're drugged. And I feel like they're carrying them underneath there. Underneath, there's like this whole system. There's like these tunnel systems. There's like tunnel systems. There's under the White House, under the Sistine Chapel, underneath Mount Shasta's had one. They're in certain places of the earth. And that's significant. There's a reason for that. It's like these tunnel systems, and I see them taking people, either by people giving them to them as a sacrifice, or because they take them. They just take them. And a lot are young people, and they use them. This hurts into my sacral really bad for different reasons. Organs, sometimes they'll take their organs and they will do things with them. And then other times it's for sexual gratification. Other times they mess with them. And if you think we don't have contracts with aliens, think again, because we do things. They do things with DNA. They do things with study, like in the brain and in the body and in the organs. And it's like these kids are not people. They're a tool. And the Sistine Chapel is highly connected to that. And you don't have to believe me. It's in the soul. And it hurts really bad. And they're good because they are like a puppeteer. Like I get them to do my dirty work, and I'm in control, and you will fear me. And that's this person with this hat and that like that looks like the Pope, and they're carrying this thing with water, and you will fear me, and you will hear me, and you will do what I say. You will do my work. You will do my work as I sit here and move the strings. And it looks like an infection. Like that's how possession works. It's like this energy, like this cord, and it finds a weekend. It finds somebody who's depressed. It finds people who are sick. It finds people who are hurting, who are vulnerable. And it's up to you to allow it in. It entices you. It makes you think things. It makes you see things until you give it permission, until you surrender to it. And then it takes over. And then the next thing you know, you're not who you were anymore. And you're doing things you wouldn't normally do. And your whole reality shifts. And you start doing the work of the master. That is the master. That is the master. That is the master. And it runs through all the systems. The master stands with a hat and a robe and a staff filled with holy water, but it's not holy. And I need to call back God's use. So it's using the tools and the understanding and the know-how of the light. And this goes into the Knights of the Round Table. This goes into KKK. It goes into the Illuminati. What title should we put on them? What title should we put on them now? It's all the same. It's all the same. And I see them doing ritualistic things, from the King James versions to like the kings, like this power and control and greed, and it's like this wave of dark energy that comes in, and it takes anybody who will let it in, and it will break you down, it will make you sick, it will make you feel like that you have no choice. And some people wanted it. That's true. But for the most part, it breaks you down until you accept it. But you have to accept it. And once you do, and I see Battle of Gettysburg, I see this ghost dance situation, carnage, murder, war. Like, you will do what I say or I will kill you. And we're going to fight back until the day where we just finally surrender, because we know you will get yours. The battle is not worth right now. Oh, and I went back up to my solar plexus. Oh, I don't even know who's still here and watching. People may have left out of judgment. I don't know. This is a lot. Ugh. And I see that water, the Pope, for lack of a better word. That is the puppet master. That's the master. That's the master, because that's the master. And I see it, and I see, so I see these, like, they look like kids, and they look like they're on a stretcher, and they actually put like these blankets over them, and they almost look like they're honoring them, but to torture them. Okay. This is like, that's why I'm really dizzy. They use them for rituals. They use their organs. They use their blood. They use their bodies for gratification. They use their DNA and something to do with alien DNA. And they mix them. They're creating like a hybrid. I don't know what all that, this is what I'm seeing. And also the crops, the food we eat. Remember the crops burning, like some things will die. It's all connected. My chest hurts. I'm going down into the root, the sacral, the root, the solar plexus, sacral and root area. I'm really dizzy. Gone are the days of torture and bloodshed. It's time to purge them. And I see all of that. So I see that whole area, like a sinkhole, it all falls in. And I see the whole area just being swallowed. Some things will not. How do I put this? So this reminds me of when I birthed New Earth and I cut those things off from God's heartbeat. Like, they will be completely cut off from any light. They cannot use God's light anymore. They cannot connect to it anymore. They will just be completely cut off and will live through what they created. Not live, that's not the right word. How do I put this? They will remain in the energy of what they created. And I see like that shackled and bound. Can't escape. Nope. But underneath the Sistine Chapel, I see souls now going floop, rising, 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 coming out, and rising, like boom, like boom, like boom. And they're rising up, and I see another one, and I see another one. And even out of the water there's something to do with the water. There might be something under the water, the ocean there. There's an ocean near there. I know, I feel it, I see it. It's like a city and then an ocean. There's an ocean near there, but there's underground thingies, and there's souls coming out of even the water. They're coming out of that whole area, like boom, 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 boom. And as that's happening, it's like the earth is just like crumbling in on itself. There's nothing there anymore. Like it's like there's nothing holding up their foundation. I literally see all these souls, and it's kids. There's even some adults. Just lots of cleansing, and the water is cleansing. But what the interesting thing to me is what they used as like holy water is not going. It's not going into the Nile. It's literally just leaving. How else do I put that? Like, I don't want to purge it. I don't want to cleanse it. I don't want that to be back. You cannot reconnect that back to the light in any way, shape, or form. So it just falls with the fallen. It's like detaching it from the blueprint. And then I see a lot of like swinging this water thing and like putting crosses on people's foreheads with it. And those are like burning. It looks like burning. I get the image of them burning. I'm not causing them to burn. I get the image of them burning. And that's the image I get. So there's fire. It's like fire. Anytime they did that water and they did a cross, it was like the element of fire. And it was burning. It was like, oh, not good. And I feel like that's coming out of that's purging. That's purging. We're purging that. We are purging that. We're calling that. We're purging that. That's coming out of the consciousness, but also those that it was placed upon. That's what so they would take holy water and put it on people like a cross. And it would literally burn. It would look like fire. That's the image I get of it. It was not holy. It was like burn. Like you see it like fire, like red lava, like fire. Not in a good way. And they would use, so the Bible, some of it's true. Of course, they use the power of God. They use the words of God. But then they also were spell casting through it. So I see these things lifting up, and it's like spell casting. And I will read the Bible, and I will even speak some tongues, and I will do these things. But it's all in this ritualistic behavior, and it's using it for my gain. That it's like these spell castings. It's literally like their ritualisms. And people don't realize they're doing that. And they become enthralled. They become like obsessed. They become like possessed through the Bible. Become possessed through the Bible. And then I get all these images of that happening to people. And then they'll kill their children. They'll kill their families. They will beat. They will sexually gratify. They become lost. So remember the possession through the Bible. Ow, my stomach hurts again. I'm tired. And then I go to the root. It's like we are burning the false. We are clearing the false foundation. We are purging the false foundation through fire. So it's not like we're burning it, but we're cleansing the fire. We're cleansing the water. We're cleansing the earth, this false foundation and all of this trauma blueprint and the truth of what things really were. So if you think the Bible wasn't used for spell castings or intrusion or manipulation, think again. Does it have the word of God in there? Mixed in, yes. They're not dumb. They use the light for their gain and control. They wanted God's power, and they got it through all of mankind. And again, I see like this thing he holds and he swings it. And he says these things. He's like speaking and he's swinging this thing. This is like looks like the Pope, the religious leader. That's what God's saying, the religious leader. And he's like saying these things and he's like supposedly blessing. And I don't know if there's smoke coming out of it or if it's water. It looks like both. Weird. And like, it's not good. This is not good. And he will pretend to be of God till the very end. And it hurts. It hurts my solar plexus, and I wouldn't want him to touch my kids. Nope. Or me. And the only thing I see is I'm like, are we purging this? But it's really going to like sink into itself and open up and stay like this big, huge pit of lava underneath there. It's going to swallow itself whole. That's what I heard. It's like cut off and can't escape and will live in, I don't like the word live because that's not what God's showing me, but they will remain in their own carnage until they are nothingness. Releasing the body of Christ. And as I said that, I feel it through my solar plexus. And I see the Nile completely filled with blood. So I also see like this 10 Commandments that was written on a rock, and I see it smashed. It's like smashed. Like broke it, like smashed. It looks like this rock, and it has writing on it, and it reminds me of the 10 Commandments. Like I'm at like a Mount Sinai, and it just smashes. Just smashes. It's not completely the word of God. But also, like when it was like a warning, and it was not heard. Instead, it was mocked, and I just see it smashed. This is a reset. So I need to, that's what's coming through here. This is a great reset. And only what is filled with light, will remain. Oh. So going in to the solar plexus, I feel the moon coming into the left and the sun coming into the right. And then I see it going down to the sacral, the moon coming into the left and the sun coming into the right. And this makes so much sense to what I've been feeling in my chakras. Oh my God. And then I see the moon coming into the root and the sun coming in on the right to the root. And then from the soul aura that we originally connected to, I see a cord coming all the way now. So remember we said, holy shnikes. So when I first did that, I said we have to remove separation that connects us from our soul. You guys, this is making more sense. So this cord is coming down from that soul, coming through our chakras that I just worked through, coming all the way down our center line, all the way through the root and anchoring into a cleansed earth. It could not connect to any of that. Does that make sense? I had purged that. We cleansed it out of the earth. And now our soul aura came down and anchored in through us. and into the earth. And I still feel trauma in the throat from that slice, that throat cut at Mount Shasta. That's what I was here, like seeing and like still purging some of that wound. That's intense, right? Like, holy shnikes, that's intense. To have somebody just hold you and you're alive and they're just like, all this blood. Sorry, that's what it is. I'm purging. So that the blood can come out and the person didn't die right away. It took a little while, and then just dropping them in. And all of this is purging. And then I see like water particles rising with the moon. And that's what I see. It's like drops of water that are just pure and light. And it's just going into our atmosphere. It's like purging and cleansing the earth, the frequencies of the earth, the atmosphere of the earth. I get the image of closing a scroll, which I didn't open one. So I found that to be, I get the image of like just closing this very long scroll. Well, actually, in the very beginning of my work, I've opened many scrolls, but there was long ones, there was big ones. And I get the image now of actually closing that scroll because it's done. Like everything in that scroll has been done. That feeling. Everything for me to do has been done. And now pure water blessings, not fire, but water, just cleansed in pure water going into the solar plexus, going into the atmosphere, dancing with the moon and the sun, and just pure water. Cleansed, pure, beautiful, supportive of the body, pure water. And as I close that scroll, I see that infinity symbol, life, death, rebirth. For some, I see calm and sunshine and peace and new plants growing and even seasons where like whatever we need, the earth provides. There's no chaos. There's no turmoil. And then for others, I see a lot of yuck and muck and death and like barrenness. I get that image of like barrenness and dark, lots of dark. And that's like the two realities. That's literally the two realities. Carnage and chaos, and people think God's not, and where is God? Sort of like, there's not here. And then over here, we're all like, God is everywhere. This is beautiful and peaceful, and I'm in awe. That is what I see. That is what I see. So your Akasha records are all being recorded. Everything that was done here. This was purging at the soul level. This was purging on ways that you can't fathom. This was totally through the Akasha records, but it's also everything recorded into the Akasha records. So can those who access the Akasha records see this work done on the earth? Absolutely. And then I also see the cornucopia on one side. It's like that image of the cornucopia, like abundance and just so much of it, just everything is so plentiful. And over here they have nothing, plentiful and nothing. And that is because God's over here. This is what we're purging. This is what anchored into, like, it cannot, you see, you feel, it's just the realities. And then by the light of the crescent moon, and that's part of the image that I got. So if you got an image through this, you need to paint it. And that will help to amplify, it will help to upgrade your creative side from the heart space. I'm also seeing a lot of peacock feathers. Right as I said that. Oh. Oh. I feel like I need to wash my face. I went through a whole horrible crying purge on this live. I haven't even opened my eyes. I'm almost like hesitant to do so, but I feel like we are starting to close it out. It was never what I expected. I'm over here going, I'm just going to do a gentle healing. We're going to have some fun. We're going to heal. We're going to do some DNA. It's never what I expect. And it's always very weird. But you have to pay attention to details. I'm humbled. I'm not here from my ego. It kicked my ass. It was an emotional ride. So I see the Akasha records closing. Whatever that really massive, big, long scroll was, is like, it's rolled up. It's done. Ivory, written in ivory. I see a white eagle again. I see crows. Lots of animals, just lots of animals. Free. Animals free and feeling safe. Can you imagine never feeling safe? We haven't really, have we? I'm sure we can imagine that. Yeah. Part of what's processing. The trauma. And then I see God's hands up, open, and like so much abundance and gold and just everything we need pouring in to the side of light and abundance and cornucopia and pure water, pure food that our bodies actually absorb. Pure, cleansed, whole. Peace, joy, love, light. And over here is nothing that. It's literally two realities. It's just all dark, all barren. There's no life. I see it as like this very dark red kind of barren area. And there's a lot of chaos and carnage and control. It's like the earth split. The earth split because the earth is deconnecting herself from that. She's lightening her load. She's like completely just deconnecting from that. So I'm seeing if there's anything else coming through. They're literally just kind of helping us to integrate, I guess is a really good word, kind of accept everything that was done, because that was on a whole nother level. That was not normal. Nothing I do is, but that was definitely not normal. And totally unexpected. And then I keep hearing by the light of the crescent moon. So whenever the next crescent moon is, I need to look that up. By the light of the crescent moon. Something else will come true. Something else will come through. Something else will rise. Like this will almost like anchor in fully by that time. I don't know. I try not to dictate what Spirit's saying. We just need to put it in our pocket. Yeah. So my hand's healing. Remember the stakes? Like my hand hurts. It hurts right here, right in the center. But it's being able to awaken to the healing abilities of God, to Christ-like healing, which is through God. but we all can have access to that through the pure of the light. Okay, only we can't be duality anymore. But through this healing, that's healing. That's healing out of the consciousness. That wound, that stealing of that healing ability. They stole his power. They stole God's power in every way, in every level, on different timelines. God was not here. That's why it was hard to find him. It was only here. And they had a false God who will pretend to be that till the very end. Till the very end. And he's even going to amplify it. That's what they're saying. Be careful. What you hear out here, find it in here. Because if you truly go within here, you will see what aligns and what doesn't. And that's all it's about. I have a total headache now, you guys. That took everything that I had. I'm super hungry. It wiped me out. It's a lot to process. And now I know what I was feeling in my chakras these last few days. So they are anchoring in everything that was done, but also cutting us off from the healing. So this healing is of a very space that is quite protected, in other words, right? So once it's done, we close that off. Not that we're closed off from the healing, but to use that energy any further is closed off, and we will continue integrating that healing. So what is yours, and what is mine is mine. So this moon really is a purging moon. that's what I'm getting. It's like purging the stuff through the elements. What else do we call that? That's a purging moon. And God said that I would continue doing work through the moons. And here we are. But something with the crescent moon. I don't know if I'll do a spell casting. I don't normally. Is the crescent moon a new moon? I don't know. See, I don't know. I just keep hearing crescent moon. So I will look into that. All right, but I'm going to start calling my energy back and get to where I can actually open my eyes, because I haven't opened my eyes for a while. You guys are still here? That was insane. Oh, thank you for being here. Oh. That was a lot. My glasses, was I touching my glasses? They're all foggy, dude, and my OCD's kicking. I can't see. Oh my gosh. Woo! Yeah, I'm sorry. That was really emotional. Took everything that I had. My physical vessel definitely took a hit, but it usually does. It makes sense because we're all energy and we're all connected, and that's how we process things out. Especially this. I feel that's what this was about, was processing this trauma out of our collective soul. So yeah, I appreciate that, but I actually feel like send that strength to you also. You know what I mean? Also, strength. And that's what was coming through at first in the throat, right? It was strength, strength, strength. So you guys, we don't have to find strength we don't have. We just have to ask for it to be amplified and anchor into our own abilities. And that's true. And so here's the trick for me is when things would feel really intense and really difficult to push past, or like I needed strength, I would stop and I would just ground, and I would sit in the earth and let my kids play outside because that brings me joy, and hold that ground. And I would just hold that, and I would hold that, and I would hold that until that density dissipated. And then it was light again, and then I was able to do things. Does that make sense? So that fighting past resistance, sometimes it requires us to just do it, to ground, to be present, to focus on joy, and to do that thing that we're having resistance with. Oh, was that Haniel's message this week through my work, or was that for you? Because I think I did a channeled message through Haniel, huh? See, everything matters. Everything that's come up all connects. Mine? Oh, I'd have to watch. So I guess when I channeled through Haniel, it was the throat. That does make sense. The throat was this week. And emotional support. Yeah, my glasses are a mess. I'm going to need to go chug some water and eat some onions and some tomatoes, because that sounds really yummy. And get ready. I know I have a healing tonight with Donita. So I will be ready for that. I'm going to go work on some more creativities. Yeah, I'm trying to stay more active in this work. It's hard because of crisis work. But I don't want stress, so I haven't just quit that. But I am truly working through more of this work. So you guys are so welcome. Thank you for not leaving and being here and not judging and just being present. Yeah, and I also got to get your package out today. So that's happening. I saw your order. I will send that out today. I've got more listed on the, I'm making my kids work for me because they're pretty much adults now. So I'm like, y'all are working for me. I'm paying for all your stuff. You guys got, like, you're so spoiled. So on one day a week, I've taught my daughter how to upload things to my website for me. My son's taking my pictures. Like, it's really cool. So it's helping. So I'm getting stuff going again. I have specific soaps that I've kind of channeled. I have new teas that I've channeled for our healing too, the salve. So we've got a lot going. Yes, I will see you later. If you guys got an image, or if you get an image anytime over the next 3 days, paint it. Whether you're an artist or not, please just paint it. Give yourself permission to take that image and paint it, because that could be part of the healing. And it will awaken you to a more creative side of self, whatever that means for you. And that's part of the healer in you. It's part of your soul path. It's part of our life creations. Okay? All right. Thank you guys for being here. Those that did not leave, that did not judge, that allow processing, and that watch my other videos, because then it might make more sense. But I will see you all soon. And by the crescent moon, I have to look that up. I'll see you guys. Bye. Thank you. Holy shit, 2.5 hours. I just noticed that. Shaista. Bye, guys.